Our mission here at Grace Avenue is to eradicate homelessness in whatever form it presents itself. And we believe that everyone needs a spiritual home, an emotional home, and a physical home. Billy talked a little bit about that sense of spiritual home and how we can lean into that with some touchstones like the Lord's Prayer. But we also know that many people are feeling isolated, and that sense of emotions are running in many different directions. Anxiety running high, fear continuing. And so in the midst of this time period, I felt like that it might be helpful for us to bring somebody in who could talk just a little bit about that anxiety and how we can really lean into and seek that sense of emotional home during this time. Jen Bradt is one of the lay leaders of our church, as well as a licensed professional counselor here in our community. And she works with the teens of our church, our youth, on a regular basis. And she also just offers some great resources today for children, youth, and adults, all who may experience a sense of that emotional homelessness right now.
Thank you for having me today and for creating space where we can talk about that anxiety is very much a part of our lives right now, and we are all experiencing it probably in very new ways. I don't know that any of us have ever lived through anything quite like we are living through right now. So we want to start with just acknowledging that anxiety is okay. It makes sense, it is valid, it doesn't mean that we are sick or that we need a label for what we're feeling right now. So in our homes, wherever we are able to gather, we do want to start by acknowledging that anxiety makes sense and it is okay. I think what we also want to do is know that the counter to anxiety is confidence. And right now, confidence is going to come through wise action. So we don't want to panic. I know we go to the grocery stores and we see the empty shelves. We don't want to panic because that's going to help our anxiety grow in unhealthy, unproductive ways.
So we will be able to find toilet paper for everyone,
Yes.
and we will be able to work through that. And so even if you're having some anxiety about that, there's other people who you can reach out to during that time period, and we can resource each other.
Absolutely, and we really want to love our neighbors more than ever right now. For those of us that do have family members in our homes, isolation is going to look a little bit different, but that's not the case for everybody. And so if you live near someone who you know lives alone, check on them, knock on their doors, leave a note, see what they need. Even just some sort of phone call will make a difference. Isolation can grow really unhealthy things in our lives. And so we want to see each other and be checking on each other. If you live near someone who is a single parent right now, be checking on them as well, because they're going to need that adult person to say, hey, it's okay to be feeling anxious right now for them too, so that they're able to do that for their own children. When we're talking about our littles and middles, the questions in their minds that we as their caregivers want to address are, should I be scared? They're going to be looking to you to model what a healthy response looks like. And so if you are freaking out on the inside, talk to other adults about that, but try to help your kids stay as calm and regulated as possible. They're going to want to know, how can I help? Our kids love to help. And so right now, helping is washing their hands and sneezing into their elbows and things like that. They also are going to want to know what's being done to help keep me safe and those I love safe. Our kids are going to be hearing a lot that they are a little bit less impacted by this, but people that are older than them can be pretty greatly impacted. So they're going to have worries about grandparents and older neighbors that they may know. And so creating space for them to talk about that, to maybe draw pictures, write letters, check on the people that they do love and care about. It's a time that we are going to be super grateful for technology. If you have teenagers, let them connect with their friends. Let them be chatting and talking about this. We also want to make room for the grief that's going to come along with this. I know, especially for our teenagers, our college students, lots of events are being canceled. And so they are experiencing some real sense of loss, and we don't want to minimize that in any way, shape, or form. And so again, let them talk about it. All these thoughts, all these emotions, very valid. For us as adults, what can we do? Think about a time that you have overcome challenges in the past. How did you do it? Remind yourself of the strength that lies within you. If there are memories of maybe a time that you didn't overcome it in a way that you wish you had, what can you do differently now? Those are the kinds of things we want to be talking to other adults in our lives about, so that we can all experience growth through adversity. And it's going to come through self-awareness and then what we teach our kids throughout this time. We also want to be aware that anxiety dumps cortisol. We don't want to be marinating in it for the next however many weeks this is of what our life looks like. And so we reduce cortisol by increasing oxytocin, hugs from safe people, get outside. We can still get outside and experience nature and honor the social distancing that's being recommended. So take the pets for a walk, go to the park, just keep a safe distance, wave to your neighbors, air hugs. We were doing that in church this morning. Distance high fives, all of those things are still okay. So hugs, get outdoors, pray, meditate. If that's something you're new to, there are some amazing resources online. For kids, we recommend Go Zen. If you'll go YouTube, Go Zen. It teaches mindfulness through animated videos that are wonderful. There are some apps that will help. Calm and Headspace are kind of our favorites that we recommend often. YouTube yoga, it's a great time to be doing some family yoga practices. It will probably come with laughter, which also increases oxytocin. The other thing that we want to talk about, and Brittany shared a little bit with us, is the breathing.
Yes.
I tell my clients often that we are equipped with a built-in breathing box in the palm of our hands. We have a built-in square. And so if you'll just trace the square and breathe 4 in and 4 out as you shift sides. We want to do it slowly, but if you'll do that 5 times, it's going to help us be a little more grounded and centered during this anxious time that we are all living in.
And I think whenever routines get unsettled and there's a sense in which there are more questions than maybe answers, and we keep listening to all of that, I think it's important. Just one of the simple things we can do is actually turn off the TVs and turn off the devices and find those places of breathing and connecting with the people we can connect with. We are going to learn new ways of connection that we have never known before. And some of those are, I am not the most technologically savvy, and yet what I began to think about is that for children who can draw pictures, if they can even start sending some of those to us, we can then send those to other people. So it may be that there's some other ways that we can connect with the people who don't have families at home. And so there's so many different ways in which we're going to continue to look for those places of ways that we can connect even when we have to socially distance. One of our Sunday school classes actually met by Zoom this morning. And so it was our first group that kind of tried that this morning, and they did that before we started worship, and what a great gift that was. And we're going to continue to look at more ways to do that. I know you have some resources on y'all's website as well, and we'll continue to be linking some of that to our website also. Lori mentioned that this can be a time when it's a gift. And I think we can always open ourselves to see a gift in things that seem unsettling. And there was a post, Billy talked about doing those encouraging posts that somebody shared. And it spoke to my heart as I thought about this sense of feeling isolated from one another, distanced from one another. It's by Lynn Unger, and it's called Pandemic. What if you thought of it as the Jews consider the Sabbath, the most sacred of times? Cease from travel, cease from buying and selling. Give up just for now on trying to make the world different than it is. Sing, pray, touch only those to whom you commit your life. Center down, and when your body has become still, Reach out with your heart. Know that we are connected in ways that are terrifying and beautiful. Know that our lives are in one another's hands. Do not reach out your hands, reach out your heart. Reach out your words. Reach out all the tendrils of compassion that move invisibly where we cannot touch. Promise this world your love, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, so long as we shall live. May we, during this time of really seeking that sense of emotional home, as we are now trapped in our homes, and yet maybe trapped's not the word. Maybe it's a time where we can see this as a gift, where we can no longer be a slave to fear, but really lean into faith. And so as we all sort of name our own anxieties and open ourselves to that sense of faith among us and that we are not alone, Laurie's going to share with us a song as she comes forward. Jen, is there anything else you'd like to say as a final word?
Just breathe, stay connected in creative ways, and love one another.
Thank you so much for being with us this morning.